Welcome to Heaven Inspiring Channel. Have you ever walked into a space and felt like you were wrapped in a warm, comforting hug from the past? That's exactly what happens when you step into a small yellow vintage cottage that's been lovingly transformed into a nostalgic haven. Imagine pale yellow walls glowing in the sunlight, floral fabrics draped over vintage furniture, and the gentle scent of lavender filling the air. This isn't just about cottage decor or farmhouse style. It's about creating a sanctuary where time slows down and every corner tells a story of simpler, happier days. What if you could transform your own space into a cozy retreat that celebrates imperfection, embraces rustic charm, and captures the essence of countryside living? Today, we're diving deep into a complete cottage makeover that proves you don't need a mansion to create magic. From choosing the perfect shade of mellow yellow to selecting vintage treasures that add soul to your rooms, you'll discover how shabby chic elements and cottage core aesthetics can turn any house into a home filled with warmth and memories. Stay until the end because we're sharing secrets that will change how you see home design forever. The journey of transforming a tired little cottage into a radiant vintage sanctuary begins with understanding what makes country homes so irresistibly charming. It's not about following strict interior design rules or buying expensive furniture pieces. Instead, it's about capturing that feeling of walking into your grandmother's kitchen on a Sunday morning, where everything feels familiar, loved, and perfectly imperfect. Vintage cottage style celebrates the beauty of aged wood, faded fabrics, and treasures collected over time that each carry their own unique story and character. Choosing the right color palette is absolutely crucial when you're creating a nostalgic cottage atmosphere that feels both cheerful and calming. Yellow becomes more than just a paint choice. It transforms into an emotional anchor that radiates sunshine and optimism throughout your entire space. But we're not talking about bright, bold yellow that overwhelms the senses. Think mellow, buttery tones that remind you of cream, honey, and morning light streaming through delicate lace curtains. Pair these gentle yellows with soft whites, warm creams, and hints of faded sage green to create a palette that feels timeless and soothing. When you're starting your cottage makeover journey, the living room deserves special attention because it sets the tone for your entire home's aesthetic. This is where family gatherings happen, where conversations flow freely, and where memories are made on lazy weekend afternoons. Begin by stripping away anything that feels too modern or cold, revealing the authentic character hiding beneath layers of previous renovations. Exposed wooden beams add rustic warmth, while vintage floral sofas upholstered in faded patterns create inviting seating areas that practically beg you to curl up with a good book and a cup of tea. Layering textures is one of the most powerful secrets in vintage cottage decorating that instantly adds depth and visual interest to any room. Think about combining rough-hewn wood with soft crocheted throws, smooth ceramic pieces with bumpy woven baskets, and glossy painted surfaces with matte aged brass fixtures. Each texture tells a different part of your cottage story, creating a rich tapestry that engages multiple senses and makes your space feel lived in and loved. Don't be afraid to mix patterns either. Floral prints, gingham checks, and delicate lace can coexist beautifully when they share a common color palette and vintage sensibility. Hunting for authentic vintage pieces is an adventure that adds so much joy and personality to your cottage decorating journey. Visit local flea markets, estate sales, antique shops, and even your own family's attic to discover treasures that money simply can't buy in modern stores. An old wooden clock with a gentle tick, chipped ceramic vases that have survived decades, weathered picture frames that once hung in a barn. These imperfect items carry history in every scratch and stain. When you bring them into your cottage, you're not just decorating, you're preserving stories and giving new life to objects that deserve to be cherished and displayed with pride. The kitchen holds a special place in any cottage transformation because it's traditionally the heart where families gather and memories simmer alongside homemade meals. Creating a vintage farmhouse kitchen means balancing rustic charm with practical functionality, so your space looks beautiful but still works hard every single day. Open shelving displays your collection of mismatched china and vintage dishware, turning everyday items into decorative elements that add personality and charm. Gleaming copper pots hanging from hooks catch the light, floral curtains frame windows overlooking gardens, and a farmhouse sink becomes the focal point that ties the entire country aesthetic together perfectly. Lighting plays an absolutely magical role in creating that warm, nostalgic glow that makes vintage cottages feel so inviting and peaceful. Modern harsh overhead lights destroy the cozy atmosphere you're working hard to create. So replace them with vintage-inspired fixtures that cast softer, more flattering illumination. Wall sconces with aged brass finishes, old-fashioned lamps with fabric shades, and clusters of flickering candles in antique holders all contribute to that golden hour feeling that lasts from morning until night. As evening falls, your cottage transforms into a glowing sanctuary where every shadow feels gentle and every corner radiates warmth that modern lighting simply cannot replicate. Your dining area deserves thoughtful attention because it's where daily rituals and special celebrations come together around simple wooden tables. A vintage farmhouse table doesn't need to be perfect or expensive. It just needs to have character and enough space for gathering loved ones. Dress it with handmade lace runners, vintage tablecloths in gingham or floral patterns, and centerpieces featuring dried flowers, ceramic pitchers, or antique candlesticks. Each meal becomes more than just eating. It transforms into an experience that honors tradition, slows down time, and reminds everyone present that home is where hearts gather around tables worn smooth by countless family dinners and heartfelt conversations. Creating a vintage cottage bedroom means designing a personal retreat that wraps you in comfort and transports you to simpler times every single night. Iron bed frames with their graceful curves and sturdy construction provide the perfect foundation for layering vintage linens, floral quilts, and handmade cushions in soft patterns. Choose bedding in gentle colors that coordinate with your yellow and cream palette, adding texture through crocheted blankets, embroidered pillowcases, and chenille bedspreads that feel as good as they look. The goal is creating a sleeping space that feels like drifting into sweet dreams wrapped in the gentle nostalgia of countryside summers spent at Grandma's house. Wall decor in a vintage cottage should tell stories and create visual interest without overwhelming the gentle, peaceful atmosphere you've worked to establish. Frame botanical prints clipped from old books, display black and white family photographs in mismatched vintage frames, and arrange faded postcards that hint at faraway places and handwritten sentiments. These pieces aren't just decoration. They're conversation starters that connect past and present, reminding everyone who enters that your cottage values history, memory, and the beauty of things that have survived time. Keep groupings asymmetrical and organic rather than perfectly aligned for that authentic collected over time feeling that characterizes true vintage style. Window treatments in a cottage setting should enhance natural light rather than block it out completely while adding softness and romantic charm. Simple lace curtains are absolutely perfect for this purpose, allowing sunshine to filter through in golden streaks while providing gentle privacy and visual interest. Choose panels in cream or white with delicate patterns. Hang them from vintage rods or simple hooks, and let them puddle slightly on the floor for that relaxed, unstudied look. When breezes blow through open windows, watch how the fabric dances and moves, making your entire cottage feel alive, breathing, and connected to the natural rhythms of countryside living that inspired this whole aesthetic. Embracing imperfection is perhaps the most liberating and important lesson that vintage cottage decorating teaches those who practice it with authentic hearts. In our modern world obsessed with perfection and Instagram-worthy spaces, cottage style celebrates chipped paint, rough wood grain, tarnished metal, and fabrics worn soft by years of use. The patina of age adds depth and character that new items simply cannot replicate, reminding us that beauty often hides in the gentle wear of things that have been loved hard and lasted long. Don't rush to fix every flaw or replace every worn piece. Instead, honor these imperfections as badges of authenticity that make your cottage uniquely yours. Incorporating natural scents creates another layer of sensory experience that makes your vintage cottage feel complete and truly lived in. Dried lavender bundles tied with twine and hung in closets or placed in bowls throughout rooms, fresh herbs growing on kitchen windowsills, and the subtle aroma of old wood and aged textiles all combine to create olfactory memories. Every breath becomes a reminder of simpler times when homes smelled like gardens, baking bread, and sunshine-dried linens rather than artificial fragrances and chemical cleaners. These natural scents ground your cottage in the earth, connecting indoor spaces with outdoor nature in ways that enhance the entire countryside living experience you're creating. Don't forget that your cottage makeover should extend beyond interior walls to include outdoor spaces that welcome visitors and provide peaceful retreats for residents. A small front yard can be transformed with cottage garden plantings featuring yellow daisies, white roses, purple lavender, and other flowers that thrive with minimal fuss. Add a white picket fence for classic country charm. Hang a handmade swing from a sturdy tree branch, and create pathways using irregular stone or gravel that crunches pleasantly underfoot. These outdoor elements frame your yellow cottage beautifully, announcing to the world that this is a special place where nature and nostalgia meet in perfect harmony. Your front porch becomes an essential outdoor living room that extends your cottage's welcoming atmosphere beyond the front door into fresh air and sunshine. Furnish it with comfortable wicker chairs that have seen better days. Add floral cushions for softness and color, and hang vintage lanterns that glow warmly on summer evenings. This is the perfect spot for morning coffee while watching sunrise paint the sky, afternoon reading sessions with good books, and evening conversations that stretch late into the night accompanied by cricket songs. A well-designed porch blurs the line between inside and outside, creating transitional space that connects your cottage with the natural world surrounding it in every season. Small decorative details scattered throughout your cottage weave together the larger story you're telling through your vintage aesthetic choices. Tiny ceramic birds perched on shelves, embroidered napkins folded in drawers, an old clock ticking softly on the mantel, vintage glass doorknobs that feel smooth in your hand. These seemingly insignificant items add up to create atmosphere and authenticity. They're the finishing touches that make visitors pause and notice, drawing them deeper into the world you've created. Pay attention to these details because they're what separate a truly thoughtful cottage transformation from a space that just looks vaguely old-fashioned, without capturing the genuine soul of vintage country living. Repurposing and restoring old furniture pieces is more sustainable and meaningful than buying everything new. Plus, it adds authentic character to your cottage. Instead of tossing worn dressers, wobbly chairs, or scratched tables, consider how sanding, painting, or simply cleaning can reveal hidden beauty underneath decades of neglect. Aged brass handles don't need replacing. They need polishing to show their original glory. Wooden surfaces with water rings and scratches tell stories that new furniture cannot. By choosing restoration over replacement, you're not erasing history, you're honoring it and creating bridges between past and present that give your cottage depth and soulfulness that new purchases never achieve. Creating atmosphere in a vintage cottage isn't just about what you see. It's equally about what you feel when you're present in the space. The house should feel peaceful in a way that modern minimalist or contemporary spaces rarely achieve, with a quietness that invites you to slow down, breathe deeply, and simply exist without pressure or urgency. Comfortable seating, soft lighting, gentle colors, and meaningful objects all contribute to this feeling of sanctuary. When friends visit, they should immediately sense the difference, feeling their shoulders relax and their breathing deepen as your cottage works its magic, reminding everyone that home should be a refuge from the chaotic outside world. Understanding that this makeover goes beyond surface-level cosmetic changes helps explain why vintage cottage transformations feel so profoundly satisfying and emotionally resonant. Each corner you decorate hums with warmth, laughter echoes in memories attached to furniture pieces, and stories of family gatherings seem to linger in the very walls themselves. You can almost hear whispered dreams, shared meals, and quiet conversations that happened in these rooms over decades, even if those moments belong to previous owners. This emotional depth separates meaningful home design from shallow decorating, creating spaces that feed souls as much as they please eyes with their vintage charm and nostalgic beauty. Mirrors in vintage cottages serve multiple purposes beyond their obvious functional role of reflecting your image each morning. An antique mirror with fox glass and ornate frame doesn't just show your reflection, it reflects time itself, creating portals to imagining how life once unfolded in slower, gentler rhythms. Position vintage mirrors strategically to bounce natural light deeper into rooms, making small spaces feel larger while maintaining that cozy cottage intimacy. Choose frames with patina and character. And don't worry if the glass shows age spots or slight distortion. These imperfections add to the authentic vintage aesthetic you're cultivating throughout your yellow cottage transformation journey. The psychology of color plays a huge role in why yellow and white combinations work so beautifully in creating cottage spaces that feel optimistic yet calming. Yellow naturally inspires joy, creativity, and warmth, lifting moods on even the dreariest days while connecting us to sunshine and happy childhood memories. White brings purity, freshness, and calm into the equation, preventing yellow from becoming overwhelming while creating breathing room within the palette. Together, these colors create visual harmony that soothes minds, lifts spirits, and fills hearts with contentment, proving that color choices impact mood and well-being in profound ways that go far beyond simple aesthetic preferences or passing design trends. Country cottage aesthetics embrace traditional elements like gingham tablecloths, delicate lace trims, embroidered linens, and floral everything because these patterns connect us to heritage and simpler times. These aren't trendy choices that will look dated next year. They're timeless elements that have graced country homes for generations precisely because they work beautifully and never go out of style. Home decor shouldn't chase fleeting trends promoted by magazines and social media influencers. It should reflect your values, honor your memories, and create spaces where you genuinely want to spend time. Cottage style reminds us that good design is about creating homes that reflect love, memory, and belonging rather than impressing visitors with expensive furniture or on-trend colors. Remember that your vintage cottage isn't a museum frozen in time. It's a living space that continues evolving and gathering new memories with each passing season. Fresh flower arrangements change with what's blooming in gardens. Handmade crafts get added as you discover new creative hobbies, and photographs update to include recent family celebrations alongside historical images. Each edition becomes another chapter in your cottage's beautiful ongoing story, proving that vintage style doesn't mean living in the past, but rather honoring it while creating new moments. Your cottage should feel alive, growing, and personal rather than perfectly styled and untouchable like magazine spreads that prioritize photography over livability. Decorating in vintage cottage style teaches valuable lessons about patience, appreciation, and mindful living that extend far beyond home design into how we approach life itself. This aesthetic values craftsmanship over mass production, embraces imperfection over glossy perfection, and cherishes what lasts over what's disposable and trendy. Taking time to hunt for the right antique piece, carefully restoring a damaged treasure, or hand-sewing cushions from vintage fabric all require slowing down and being present in ways that modern quick fixes don't encourage. These practices remind us that true beauty comes from presence, attention, and care rather than convenience, speed, or keeping up with constantly changing design trends promoted by consumer culture. The transformation story of your cottage itself demonstrates the power of vision, effort, and love to resurrect forgotten spaces into vibrant homes. When you first discovered it, the cottage might have been tired, neglected, with peeling paint and broken fixtures that made others walk away shaking their heads. But you saw potential hiding beneath surface problems, imagining how this small yellow house could breathe again with life and personality. The transformation wasn't just physical repairs and new decor, it was emotional resurrection, turning a forgotten structure into a living symbol of care, attention, and the belief that beautiful things deserve second chances to shine bright and fulfill their original purpose of providing shelter, comfort, and joy. Every corner of your finished cottage now carries potential for memories waiting to be made in the days, months, and years ahead. Slow breakfasts at that vintage wooden table, rainy afternoons reading in your cozy living room, laughter echoing through the farmhouse kitchen during holiday baking sessions, quiet mornings on the front porch watching birds visit your cottage garden. This is more than decor and design. It's creating the backdrop for your life, the stage where your personal story will unfold in simple moments that matter. Home becomes experience rather than just physical space, a return to what truly matters in lives that often move too fast and forget to pause for beauty, connection, and gratitude. In our fast-moving modern world that prizes bigger houses, luxury finishes, and keeping up with neighbors, this small yellow cottage stands as gentle rebellion and reminder. Home isn't about square footage or expensive materials. It's about belonging, finding comfort in familiar things, and creating warmth through intention rather than budgets. A cottage filled with love, vintage treasures, and personal meaning will always feel richer than a mansion decorated with designer furniture, but lacking soul. Size matters far less than how a space makes you feel. And luxury means having a place where you can truly be yourself, surrounded by things that tell your story and honor what you value most in this precious life. As we close this makeover journey together, the small yellow vintage cottage glows softly in afternoon sunlight, looking humble yet absolutely full of grace and timeless beauty. It stands as living proof that homes aren't built with walls, expensive materials, and professional contractors alone. They're built with heart, preserved memories, and the timeless joy of creating sanctuary. Every chipped paint detail, every vintage treasure, and every gentle yellow wall reminds us that the best homes embrace imperfection while celebrating what lasts, connecting us to heritage and teaching us that rushing through life means missing the beauty hiding in small, quiet moments. If this cottage transformation inspired you to rethink your own space or sparked ideas about bringing vintage charm into your home, we'd absolutely love to hear from you in the comments below. Share your favorite cottage decor element, tell us about vintage treasures you've discovered, or let us know which part of this makeover resonated most with your heart. Don't forget to hit that like button if you found this journey through nostalgic country living valuable, and subscribe to our channel for more home design inspirations that celebrate beauty, authenticity, and creating spaces where souls feel truly at home. Thanks for joining us today, and may your own home be filled with warmth, memories, and that special cottage magic.